put me up behind Steve. Yeah, but it's all good though, man. Listen, as I said, my name is Nakia Smith. I'm the senior pastor of Restoration Outreach Ministries in Longview, Texas. We founded our own ministry, just a year old. Been a pastor now for about 17 years. I used to pastor, and I was in Beckville. That's where Stephen and I met. You know, I'm always that open type of dude. I'm gonna let y'all know straight off the cuff. I'm not your typical type pastor. I'm not that dude that, you know, that's just, no, I'm just that dude. That's who I am. You know, as my Bible says, I used to be a dope dealer. Not just any type of dope dealer. I wasn't stand on the corner type dope dealer. I wasn't that dude. I was that dude. I give y'all an example of who I used to be. I was the one that I remember very vividly, sitting in the house one time, about 180 pounds of marijuana, about 4 or 5 uncut keys of cocaine, pills everywhere, whatever you needed, you know, one-stop shop. He talked about CVS. I guess I was a chain. You know, we had whatever you needed anytime. You know, that was just the type of person that I was. You know, just gonna give you a little background, and then I'm gonna try to drop something on y'all, man, that I think that's gonna help you, because this is my wheelhouse, dealing with young people. You know, to understand that, you know, you don't have to be what they say you're going. You know, as the thing says, anything is possible, and I'm gonna share that with you. But I'm gonna give you a little background about me first. Grew up in a small town after we moved from Dallas when I was very young. Grew up in a small town. Some of y'all probably don't even know if I said. Anybody know where Dangerfield is? Yeah. All right, so you know where Dangerfield is. Anybody know where Cason is? All right, Cason. We had 2 people who knew what Cason was. That's how small it was. Highway 11 between Dangerfield, Pittsburgh. Going through Cason, if you blink, you miss it. But I grew up in Cason, Texas. I'm 44 years old. And when we were in Cason, man, it was like this. I grew up in a dilapidated house. To understand what dilapidated is, a back room of our house had fell in. Couldn't do any better. That's where we stayed. It was rat infested. We had snakes in the house. But that's all we could do. That's where I grew up in. I grew up hard, man. I grew up having to draw water from a well. Some of y'all don't even know what a well is. But we drew water from the well. That's the best water. It came out cold. But we grew up like that, man. You know, my mom, my brother, myself, and I would say my dad, but he wasn't at home most of the time. You know, I remember one particular time they turned the lights off at our house, right? Anybody ever had their lights off? Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Our lights was off, man. My dad worked for Lone Star Steel. Worked for Lone Star Steel all my life before he passed. So my dad making grip, man. I'm talking about, he was making serious money. But he didn't care about us. So they turned the lights off, right? And my mom was like, you know, she called him and said, like, Larry, you know, the lights off in the house. He said, well, where I'm going, they got lights. He was going to his other girlfriend's house. Come on now. Let's get real. Let's talk. Let's talk, because see, y'all see it, but you don't talk about it. You know, that family outside the family. Had a sister that one of my mamas. You know, so all this going on, man. My mom working at the school, janitor at the school, getting paid once a month, trying to take care of me and my brother. You know, and she's doing all that she had to do, to make sure that everything, all ends met. I always took care of us. I remember sitting down, never forget it, sitting down at Dairy Queen. Me and my brother got the little meal, you know, you get the little dilly sandwich, you know, the little ice cream sandwich once you got the little meal. So we sitting there, right, we eating, and my mom just sitting there, she's not eating. And, you know, we young, trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. So we're like, Mom, you not hungry? She's like, no, baby, I'm fine. Every now and then she'll grab a French fry from my plate or my brother's plate, because she didn't have enough money to feed all of us. We'll be at the house, man. Sometimes she doesn't cook. Some of y'all don't know nothing about this, but back in the day, old school, when we used to cook, we used to use the same grease. Okay, y'all, okay. And if you cook chicken, you know the crumbs fell off in the grease. So Mama will get a strainer, and God. she'll get a strainer. She poured the grease off, and that strainer was crumbs. I used to see her get a piece of bread and make her a sandwich while she was making sure me and my brother was eating. That's how I came up. So as I got older, started going to school, pretty decent athlete. Went to school in Dangerfield, one of the most predominant schools as far as football. Freshman year, I was playing varsity football, playing quarterback. Started my sophomore, junior, senior year in Dangerfield playing quarterback there. I've kind of fast forward a little bit. Some of that stuff y'all don't need to hear about. It's going to make me cry. So then I was also pretty good in basketball. Ended up with a little opportunity to either go play football at TCU or basketball at SFA. I chose to go play basketball at SFA. Got down there. As soon as I got there, I messed up my knee. Partial scholarship that I had, gone. So now, here I am. I'm just down at SFA, going to school, doing all the things I got to do right. And I kind of hooked up with some cats. Because this all came back from, I know, I had to think about it, where it started from. It started with my uncle back in the day. My uncle used to smoke weed. He used to have it back then, he used to have these big old black trash bags that's full of weed. And, so he started giving me joints when I was in high school and junior high. And I was taking them to school, dropping them in folk lockers with a little note, $3. I was hustling early. Man, it wasn't nothing for me being 6th, 7th grade, walking around school, about $400-500 in my pocket from collecting that day. And, so I just done all this stuff, man, just making things happen. Got off in got in high school, still doing the same thing. Everybody's still loving Nakia. Nakia this, Nakia that. Graduated number 5 in my class. So I ain't no dummy. Went to SFA, doing what I was doing, still going to school when I couldn't play basketball. But then I started hanging out with some cats called Hilltop Hustlers. And next thing you know, I no longer have books in my backpack. I'm walking around campus. I got backpack full of weed, backpack full of whatever. And then I hooked up with a professor. Yeah. And so I became his supply until they found out what was going on. So they set up like a little sting operation. So I walk in one day, backpack, and I drop it on his desk. I ain't calling no names. And as soon as I done what I did, opened it up, and he was like, yeah. I'd go turn around and walk out, come out the side door, campus police, and Nacogdoches PD. So that now these are him and me. I spent while they were deliberating what they wanted to do with me, I spent 90 days down in Nacogdoches County. Don't go to jail in Nacogdoches. Don't go to jail and don't go to jail. Don't go to jail and literally bread and water. Don't go to jail in Nacogdoches. Please don't. Don't go to jail, period. But don't go to jail in Nacogdoches. So then, after I got out of that, they came and said, well, this is what we're going to do. You no longer exist down there. I'm in my junior year. You no longer exist. I was expunged like I never existed at SFA. So I come back home. Now I'm wide open. That's where I hook up with the partners where we got 180 pounds of weed, blah, 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 blah. So let's drop it like this. I remember, man, out there doing what I was doing, people seeing me, go to football games, I'm high. Because he talking about he smoked weed all the time. I was smoking a quarter pound of weed a week by myself. I'm talking about I couldn't walk from here to the bathroom in the middle of the night. When I woke up at night, I leaned over, I grabbed my blunt, I lit it before I got out of bed, and I walked to the bathroom and smoked. If I was standing or sitting, I was still smoking. If that went out while I was in there, it was one in the bathroom. Hey, that was just who I am. Now, my wife, like my girlfriend at that time, she was an alcoholic. She'll wake up in the middle of the night, reach up under the bed, grab a gallon of hot gin, and just turn it up. And we'll stay up all night just talking, drinking, and smoking. She was drunk, I was high. We were the best couple in the world. Best couple in the world, man. I'm serious. We didn't care. I didn't do too much drinking, and she didn't do, because she stopped smoking with me because I thought I had killed her one day. Because I didn't have any type of weed that somebody on a video, and I always tell these kids that I talk to this here, you see all these cats walking around on these videos with all this quote unquote ice on. What you don't see is right off the camera is that the people that own the jewelry are standing right there. They have leased it for the videos. And you think they got all of this. You think it all belongs to them. But they're leasing what they have to give you a look that now you're out there trying to do any and everything you can to look like them. But a lot of times it's not them. So let's talk about me. Let's not talk about the videos. How did I get to where I am now? Well, I remember, I know some probation officers in here. So. I remember being on probation in 3 counties at one time. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. I was on probation in Nacogdoches County. I was on probation in Titus County. And I was on probation in Morris County. All at the same time. And nobody never conversated. Because I would have been revoked in any one of them, you know what I'm saying? I'm already going to jail. But make a long story short, man, so I'm out there, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I go out there to the cut where my guys were, man, and I'm checking on them. And when I pull up on the scene, you know, at that time, that's when Alton was handing me money. And he had some crack in his hand. And a piece dropped. And I saw about 4 or 5 crack addicts. And he dropped it in some white rocks. They were on their hands and knees trying to find it. They were biting on rocks, trying to see if it was actually crack, if they found the right piece. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, you can't do this, bro. You can't do this no more. You see what you're doing to people, man? People were selling crack to come buy weed. They were doing this, they were doing all types of things just to come see me. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? Because I always had a good mindset. But I just got caught up in some things. So here we are now. I started going to jail because they were trying to get me. I'm serious. They knew what I was doing, but they could never catch me with anything. Every week, if my wife was here, she would tell you, every week I was going to jail. Every week. They were trying their hardest. And so I remember I told her, I said, babe, I can't do this anymore. The most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me, I got pulled over on my way to the liquor store in Lone Star, Texas, in front of the credit union. And when they pulled me over, like 4 or 5 policemen came out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from. They stripped me down to my boxers on the side of the road while people steady driving, coming through. And I'm sitting there, you know, I'm cussing. They got me in handcuffs with my drawers on. I'm standing there, I'm talking about, they made me take my shoes off. I got on socks and drawers. That's it. That's it. I'm standing on the side of the road like this, and I'm cussing and fussing. And they found an old dry weed seed as they flipped my car. Anybody know what flipping the car means? Yeah. They turn your car apart. They found a dry weed seed. And they were talking about they finna take me to jail. I said, man, y'all finna try to take me to jail for weed seed. If you really look up under the seat, you'll find a whole sack. You know, I give you a reason to take me to jail, you know what I'm saying? But because I knew if I had anything less than 2 ounces of misdemeanor, they gonna give me a little or whatever. Because I knew the law too, because I went to school. I went to school for law. So, you know, I was kind of short, and I done that because I knew I was going to end up getting in trouble. So, you know, as they took me to jail that night, I got out the next morning, and then this is where the shift came. I never forget it. I hit a big lick, and we went to Pittsburgh, or I call it Little Houston. And, you know, I had one of my homeboys with me, and we went and picked up some weed, you know, smoking weed, you know. went and got me some Thunderbird. I was on Thunderbird. I was that whole, back then we mixed a little Kool-Aid with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find the real folks. Some of y'all here like, yeah. Not none of y'all young ones, I hope. But anyway, so we were drinking all that day, man. I'm talking about, because I don't drink, so I'm all excited. We're drinking and smoking all day, drinking and smoking all day. So then we go back to the liquor store, and I pick up one of my cousins. He said, man, what y'all doing? We tell him, so he riding with us. We go to Dangerfield, get back in the Dangerfield, and there's a party on the cut. And everybody like, oh, man, what's up? I said, I'll be back in a few minutes, because they knew I had weed. So we took my cousin back to his car, and we're coming back, and my homeboy's been driving me around all day. And so we hit the cut, man, and here it starts swinging. You start swinging that thing. Again, I don't know if the police just popped out of my trunk or what. A police car pops up behind us, sirens are going. I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like, dude, just slow down, man. I said, just pull over. He said, we ain't gonna worry about it. A little weed, ain't no problem. He said, man, I can't stop. I said, why not? He said, man, I got 2 ounces of crack on me. And so I wasn't saved then. So I said a lot of explicit words to him. You know what the bleep 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 bleep. You doing with that driving my car? So he flies through the stop sign, and now we're running from the police, and we get probably about from here to that wall, from those trash cans, those big trash bins that. They have to bring the big trucks out to stick the things in and raise up. And he jumps out. And I'm over here on the passenger side. So by the time I get from here to there, when I stop, I'm probably about from here to camera away from it. So I'm like, they're not going to catch me here. If they're going to get me, they have to get me down the street. Because they running after him. They're not worried about me because they want him. I'm going somewhere with this because I'm finna talk to some of y'all about snitching. And so when I get to my homeboy house, and I'm up there, I'm standing, I never forget, I had on a red and white polo shirt, I had on some white pants, and I had some polo boots. And he was like, Nakia, we know you're up there, come on out. So I stepped down, and they go in the car, they find a little weed, whatever. They take me to jail that night. They not really worrying about me anymore. They said, hey, who was driving your car that night? I said, man, I don't know. I'm drunk. I'm high. I don't know. I was just down at the lake and let somebody drive me. I don't want to feel like driving myself. So they held up this picture, this mug shot. Was it him? It was my homeboy. I'm like, man, I don't know who that is. Then they held up another mug shot. Same dude. He had about 20 of them. They said, was it him? Was it him? Was it him? And I kept saying, no. My mom came up there to see me because they were going to try to keep me all night. Mom came up there to see me, right? And so I'm in there. I'm in that little window, that little glass. My mom on the phone. She crying. The kid, just tell him who it was. I said, Mama, I don't know who it was. At that time, I had big Angela Davis afro. If you know anything about Angela Davis, I had a huge afro. My hair used to be, either my hair was always braided or whatever. I wore picked out. Back then, Bone Thugs and Harmony, they were cool. So I thought I was Busy Bone, Lazy Bone, one of them bones. And so I'll bust a part right down the middle, hair just hanging everywhere. And so I'm sitting in there, man, and my hair is all over my head. And Mama's talking to me. And I look up at her. Next thing you know, I just throw up all over the window. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, tell my homie, man, get out of here, get out of here. I go back there. They let me out the next day because I always bonded myself out because I always had the money. And so I go back to my homeboy house where I went to where I got arrested at. And while we're sitting in there, the dude that was driving, him and his brother show up. So they come up in the house, yeah, Ninja. You'll catch it later. All right. We know you were snitching. We know you told. I said, man, nobody said nothing. So then all of a sudden they pull out 2 razors, and I'm on this side of the bed, and the only way out is where they're standing. And so they both come at me, and some kind of way I finagled my way through there, and I knew if I got to the car, well. So when I got to my car, I popped my trunk, running out to the car, and I had a sawed-off, double-barrel shotgun, pistol grip, which was not legal. And so when they came, The worst sound you ever want to hear is, and they both stop. Because I ain't trying to kill nobody. You know, that ain't what I'm all about. You know, I was a lover, not a fighter. You know, and so they went on, and I was like, man, I got to change my surroundings. So I kept telling my wife, my baby girlfriend at the time, so I got to do something. So you know what I said? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to turn myself in. I'm tired. I'm tired. Going back to the snitching real quick. It ain't snitching if you're telling the truth. Quit lying to yourself. Quit lying to yourself. If it's the truth and you tell it, the truth shall set you free. But you talking about you, well, them my boys, we ride or die. If the shoe was on the other foot, they gonna tell it. If it means them going down or you going down. So when I turned myself in, luckily I was already through with Nacogdoches. Mount Pleasant, Titus County found out, oh, you got Nakia Smith? We want him first. My wife and her friend drove me up there. And so when Titus County got there, I'll never forget it. They drive me up there and I told the boy, I said, hey man, turn the radio on, something. Let's just not sit there. If I'm going to jail, I want to hear some music. So he turned on country station. I said, no. Nah, bro, you're going to have to, you're gonna, back up there, 103.5. I said, you're going to have to let me hear something, you know. So we listened to some music, whatever. I'm back there, you know, I got my little old groove, whatever. And I'm trying to figure out why am I so excited to be going to jail? Because altogether, I'm finna have to do at least about 9 years. Not in county, but I'm going to the penitentiary. And so I'm there, and I never forget, I got there that morning. They got me in the holding tank, you know. In the tank, sometimes you may have 10 people. Cold, little old man in there about like this, and they tell you that's where you finna sleep. Little thin cover, and they got the air on high. And so I'm standing there, man, and all these other cats in here, and this dude that I played football with back in high school, he came in, he was crying. I'm like, man, what you crying for, bro? He had just went to arraignment. And he got, I think it was, high double-digit years for a $10 crack rock. And I'm sitting, I'm like, Lord, they finna throw me away. They are finna throw me away. I'm never coming back again. I don't know, I ain't gonna never see my mama, I ain't gonna never see this, blah, 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 blah. But you know, I'm cool. So I'm standing there, man, and here comes the change in my life. Around about midnight that night. I'm standing there, I'm looking out the tank, and I can see the little clock. Then this cat walks up in a suit. Anybody know anything about going to jail? Well, I hope you don't. So nobody's supposed to be back there but the jailers. Cat walks up in a suit, he knocks on my glass. I'm like, yo, what's up? He said, you want to get out of here? What you think? You know, and so he said, well, come see me in the morning. Come see him. I said, man, I got to go for arraignment in the morning, bro. Come see me in the morning. So that morning, they're following us out, about 10 of us, they're following us out. Because in the middle of the night, they had already came and got my homeboy. He was already gone. So I just know I'm ready to take the chain too. So they're following us out, and I'm the last one to come out. They said, Smith, they're going this way. They called me over here and they gave him a clothes. Cool. I'm like, where I'm going? You need to go up the street, call the man's name, go ahead and get changed. So I'm changing, but I'm looking at it, you know, because then all of a sudden the Sally Port door opens. They don't let you out the Sally Port. You got to go back through the front. You got to go through all this process. So now I'm going out the Sally Port door like this. You will not shoot me in the back. You'll never get a chance to try to escape. And so when I get outside the Sally Port door, it goes down in front of my face. I'm like, all right. So I walk up the street to this dude, right? I go to his office. I walk in there. There's this, as soon as I walk through the door, there's a lady sitting behind the desk. big cherry oak desk, red, it's a big black plush leather chair she's sitting in. She said, he's waiting for you in the back. Go back to the back where he is, same desk, same chair, and I see all these Polaroid camera pictures on the wall. And he tells me to sit down. He grabs his picture, grabs his camera, takes my picture, my picture comes out, you know. He fans it like that, and he looks at it, and listen to his words. I got you now. He put me up on the wall with everybody else. So we're sitting there, I'm like, man, how much owe you? So I owe him about $500, you know, $500, man, that's at the house. So he's like, okay, hey, you gotta wait home. I'm like, nah, blah, 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 blah. Won't make a long story short. We're driving home in the truck that I swear the tires are this big, I'm this house, the ground, and I'm just sitting there, and we're driving, and he's like, you wanna listen to some music? I'm like, yeah. Guess what he turned on? No, country. I'm gonna listen to country with you because you done got me out of jail. I'm sitting over there, I'm like, whatever you want to do, cuz. Whatever you want to do, I'm talking about rocket top, good old rocket, whatever you want to listen to. So he talking to me all the way home, and what I didn't know is the day that I turned myself in. When my girlfriend at that time got back to the house, the people were there, they picked up all of our furniture, they took everything out the house. Only thing that was left at the house was a mattress and a 13-inch black and white TV. It was raining, and when he pulled me up to our little duplex, I stepped out of the truck into the house. And at that time, I had my little 18-month-old. And she jumped up, and he jumped up there hugging me, telling me, how'd you get here? How'd you get out? And I turned around and said, she said, well, who? I'm like, it was a man just dropped me off. Nowhere to be seen. So she's like, okay, cool, whatever. So we all there. I said, I got to take him some money. So I ain't going to take it to him today. I'm just going to hang out with y'all today. I need a blunt. I'm free. So let's get high. And so I'm sitting there, and next thing you know, man, the next day we go up there, and I'm taking him the money. I'm driving, had a 77 snapback Seville Cadillac. It was brown peanut butter guts on the inside. Trues and Vogue, I'm talking about real, everything. You know what I'm saying? And so we're driving up there, you know, and when I get to the place, I get up there and I'm getting out, and she's like, this it? I'm like, yeah. And I walk up to the building, and it's empty. I'm like, man, I was just here yesterday. So I go next door to the other place that was, and I'm like, say, what a dude that was over here, man. He was like, over where? I said, right here. He said, man, you at the wrong place. I said, no, man, right here. He said, dude, hadn't been nobody in this building for 6 months. I said, bro, I was here yesterday. He said, hadn't been nobody in this building. And he walked over with me for 6 months. There was a Felice sign on the window. There was about this much dirt on the floor. And my wife was like, you sure we're in the right place? I said, baby, I can retrace my steps. This is the right place. But she said, the man ain't nobody been here for 6 months. But I was just in here. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. But so we go back home, and all the way home, I'm tripping. And I'm like, well, man, I got to get out of Dangerfield. I got to go, man. So we moved to Longview. I said, I'm going to give it up. I ain't going to hustle no more. Still going to smoke weed, but I ain't going to hustle no more. I'm done. Got down there, the struggle was real, man. We got evicted 7 times. If you look up eviction in the dictionary, we stand there like this. It said we just kept getting evicted because now what I was using as a resource, I didn't have it anymore. And one thing led to another. We finally hooked up with this place that we actually can afford. But at this place, man, it was a trailer probably about the length of this room. And we were struggling to pay the rent there. But my wife started going to church. And I'm like, she was like, you gonna go to church with me this morning? I'm like, man, I'm finna get high. Ain't nobody thinking about church. So she kept going, and she would come home smiling, happy. And I'm like, she was for saying this, but I'm saying, so all the hell we going through? And you smiling? Oh, I know what's going on. You talking to somebody at the church. Yeah, that's what's going on. You. So one morning I got up with her. She said, where we going? She said, what are you doing? I'm going to church. I put on my Dickies. I picked my hair out. And I walked in there, I was already mad. Anybody said anything, I had made up my mind, I'm hitting the first man say something to him. In church! I'm serious, I was just going to hit the first one. It didn't matter. So we sit down and the preacher started preaching. And I leaned up, I said, what you tell this man about me? It seemed like everything he was saying, he was talking to me. So we go to my grandmother's house afterwards, and I'm like, oh man, you ought to hear my pastor. This is my first time going to church. And so we'll make a long story short, let's fast forward for a second. Start going to church, start singing in the choir, start doing all these things. And then one day, something just happened. I was asleep one night, and I saw this big flash card. And it was Ezekiel 33:7. And Ezekiel 33:7 said, I've set you as a watchman of the children of Israel. You're to warn them. And if you don't warn them, then the blood is on your hand. But if they don't heed to the warning, then the blood is on your hand. And I'm like, man, I don't know what this means. So I opened up, I went to the living room, didn't want to wake up my wife, opened up my Bible. And a big light came out of my Bible with no lights on. And it opened up right to that scripture. Didn't understand it. Grabbed my wife's, opened up her Bible. It opened up right to that scripture. Didn't understand it. My wife gets up and she's looking. She said she's looking down the hall. She said, what is this fool doing in here reading the Bible in the dark? But I had light. Went to my pastor. I said, hey, pastor, I said, man, this is what's going on. This is what I got. He said, that same scripture right there is where I preached my first sermon from. I tried to hear all that. So then I made up my mind. I'm saying, I'm going to see what this is going to bring. And after more dealing and more dealing, and I'm finna give you the nuts and bolts of all of this, I accepted my call to preach. I surrendered. And then we start calculating that amount of time from when I accepted. It equaled the same amount of time that I would have been in jail. From when I started to where I am. It was a 9-year span before I made up my mind that that's what I wanted to do. So, here we are now, after 17 years. Used to be a dope dealer. Now I'm a hope dealer. What's the hope? The hope is this. If he can change me, he can change you. Anything is possible. I was reading, and I want to share something with y'all, because I read a lot. I want to share this with you. While life hands you a lemon, make lemonade. Norman Vincent Peale wrote this, and he published this. He published a book known as The Power of Positive Thinking in 1952. It stayed on the New York Times bestseller for 186 consecutive weeks. Much of what he had to say was extremely good and helpful. But the words of Jesus, watch this, go way beyond the power of positive thinking. Stay with me, now I'm almost done. Norman Vincent Peale said it like this. A positive mental attitude is a belief that things are going to turn around and they're going to turn out well. And you can overcome any kind of trouble or difficulty. Which actually is scriptural. Because Jesus said with all things, with God all things are possible. This is more than powerful. It's more powerful than positive thinking because it's the power of God that says these things. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So what I'm trying to tell you is that anything is possible. You're sitting in here today, and most of us and most of you that are sitting in here are on some type of probation. Something is going on. Something has happened to get you in this place here today. And you're sitting here and you're saying that you got dealt a bad hand. Mama didn't care. Dad ain't there. Mama strung out. Dad is strung out. Dad in jail. Mama doing this. So now this is who I am. No. Some of them in here, they're familiar with me doing this. But y'all see this? It's a pencil. It's a pencil, it's a pen, or whatever you got in your hand. And in front of you is a blank canvas. See, what happens now, because you're here, somebody else has the pen in their hand. And they're writing your narrative. They're doing all the writing for you. They're telling you, you got to be here today. They're telling you, you got to report at this time. They're telling you this. They're telling you this. But when you finally understand that you can do anything is possible, you take back the pen. And you start writing your own book. I had to get my pen back. Because if I wouldn't have got my pen back, I have a brother right now that I'm currently talking to you that's serving 50 years in a penitentiary. Since my brother's been locked up, there's been 2 grandkids that he hadn't saw. He had a daughter that got married. He had a son to graduate college. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he's locked up for murder. And not just any type of murder, but he murdered his wife. So my wife and I already had 3 boys. Now we took on their 3. So we had 6 boys, a whole bunch of testosterone running around in our house. But here's the thing about it. Those 3, well, he had 5 kids, but they're supposed to be now statistics. You're not supposed to make it. Your mom is dead, and that came because of your dad. One is in his senior year at UTSA. One is working on getting his certificate from TSTC in Fort Worth. We have another one that's getting ready to go into his 2nd year in Navarro. My son, my oldest son, is married, has an excellent job. My middle child went to school on a football scholarship, messed himself up, came home, but now he has a great job. Now we got our 14-year-old at the house who right now, who's graduating, who just left from 8th grade. When he left from 8th grade, he was ranked number 2 in his class. Going into his freshman year. What am I saying? It makes no difference what hand you've been dealt. Anything is possible. It makes no difference what people say, what they call you, what drugs you hooked on right now. Anything is possible. Whatever you're dealing with right now, anything is possible. You got to make up in your own mind that you write your own narrative. Don't let people tell you who you're going to be. Listen, my dad used to drink, he used to do all that, but just because my dad and I we looked identical, everybody said I was going to be the one that was going to cause all the trouble. But don't let people label you into something that you're not. Don't nobody know you but you. And him, he looked beyond everything that I did. And now I have a golden opportunity. I'm telling you, 17 years. Who would ever thought that a young man out of Kason, Texas, would right now have started his own ministry? That in less than a year, we've already purchased another facility, getting ready to open up another portion of ministry. Who would have thought that a young man out of Kason, Texas, that used to be a drug dealer, that is a part owner of Hedge Financial Group in Tyler, Texas, who would have thought that a young man that's a drug dealer would not only be a youth coordinator for Special Health Resources, but now I'm the assistant to the regional coordinator? Who would have thought that things would happen in my life because of where I started? It's not about where you start, it's about where you end. But if you don't have a plan to where you're going, listen, y'all heard Stephen say I had to get out of Jacksonville. Jacksonville, listen, some of y'all, these places that you're in are going to kill you. They're going to kill you. Because only thing that you know is what you see your friends doing. And your friends don't want to do anything else. But I'm telling you today, I'm standing here flat-footed to tell you, anything is possible. Anything. You remember me telling y'all in the very beginning, I'm done. I stayed in, growing up, I stayed in a rat-infested house, snake-infested house, dilapidated back room. Let me tell you where I stay at now. I live in Tatum, Texas. I have a 4-bedroom house with a game room on about 2.5 acres of land. Nice big shed in the back. Have an in-ground pool. Let's see. It's paid for. Every car that I drive is paid for. My 3,500 square foot house is paid for. None of it drug money. None of it, everything that I realized that anything is possible. Oh, and by the way, remember I told y'all that they got rid of me at SFA, so I no longer had any college credits. I'm standing before you right now, I got my degree. Because I realized anything is possible. There's nothing that you cannot do. And I'm not sitting up here boasting and bragging about what I got. God bless me with everything I got because I was willing to work for it, because I made up my mind something has to change. Because whatever, if I keep doing what I'm doing, guess what? My kids are going to see it. And my kids are going to become just like I am. And guess what? My kids are just like I am right now. They're hungry. They're grinders. They're pushing it. They're trying to get it every day. What are you hungry for? This is the summer right now, and I'm done. What are you hungry for? What's your goal for the summer? To go get high when you leave here? To go get drunk when you leave here? Oh, I know that's what some of y'all got on your mind. It's cool. And if that's where you at, cool. Guess what? They got a sale for you too, right by my brother. They building them every day. They build them for black, white, Hispanic, brown, yellow, blue. It don't matter. Keep doing what you're doing. See, some of y'all may be 16 and you're on juvenile probation right now. Guess what's next? When you get to adult probation, it's not as lenient. All these little, well, you need to quit. No, they ain't gonna tell you that now. Guess what they doing? They locking you up. They're waiting on you. I guarantee you. They're looking at some of y'all cases right now as a juvenile. Say, you know what? We know what he gonna be. We know what she gonna be. You need to make up your mind what you're gonna do. It need to start right now, man, because anything is possible. No matter what anybody done told you. I don't care what your mama did. I don't care what your daddy did. I don't care what anybody in your family did. Won't you be a generational changer? Won't you change up the game? Won't you be the one that make everybody say, you know what? I didn't think he was going to do that. Change it up. You don't have to be like everybody else. Guys, I'm standing here and I'm done. I guess I am a preacher because I'm closed 3 times. Yeah. I'm done. I'm done. Here's my last statement. Why not? Why not? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your hopes? I ask this question to my kids, and I ask them quite often. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Anybody? I just need 2 people to answer that.
College.
You see yourself in college? Man.
I'm going to be registered.
You're going to be a registered nurse. What college?
Community at first, but I'd like to go to Texas State or A&M or something.
Okay. What college to get to being a registered nurse? And I'm going somewhere with this because I got a point that I'm proving.
Probably a college in August.
Okay. Here's my thing. If you hadn't started researching it now, you're late in the game. What is it going to take for you to get there? Start getting in front of it. Have a vision board. So I need 2 young men. Young lady's been asking everything. I need 2 young men. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yes, sir.
I'll be in college too.
You be in college. What college you want to go to?
University of North Texas.
University of North Texas. Which one to major in?
Theater.
Theater. Okay. You look like a theater major. Look like you can play one of them.
I've done it.
Yeah, go ahead. Romeo, where from? Okay. I saw another hand go up. Yes, sir. You're going to be in 12th grade. All right, after 12th grade, come on, man.
College.
College.
Texas A&M, going to do football.
Going to do football. What's your backup plan? Remember, I got hurt, and then when I got hurt, they took all that from me. What's your backup plan? Hadn't thought about it. One injury away from all that being gone. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm saying what I'm saying. Yes, ma'am.
I plan on trying to play football.
You want to play football? Okay, that's cool. Hey, I ain't knocking on that. I ain't knocking that. Looks like you got a little something in you anyway. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, you may not want to say anything, but if you got a plan, just raise your hand. If you got a good plan that you think, raise your hand. Has your plan been written down? Or is your plan right here? Because see, if your plan is right here, at any time, like Steve was saying, you know, we both been wrapped up in drugs. Will you help me tell them we lose some stuff?
Oh, trust me, I do too.
We lose stuff. And nowadays, drugs cut with everything. We used to cut crack back in the day with B12. You know, B12, y'all know, I ain't talking about B12, give you energy. What you think they're doing with it now? They're stepping on everything. And you're smoking it, you're shooting it up, you're doing all this, and you don't know what's put. And I'm a real advocate of this. I can't tell you not to smoke weed, because I know a lot of folk do. But don't smoke something that they gave you. If you didn't see it get rolled up, because back then we called them primos, because they were laced with crack. And now, not only are you now having a weed addiction, now you want to smoke crack too, because you don't know who gave you something. Ain't no telling what they calling it now. Y'all got all these little funny names for the same stuff we used to do. All y'all little dance moves, same stuff we used to do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do all this stuff. Now some of this stuff y'all be doing, I'm scared of it. I don't know why y'all ain't hurt yourself some of these moves, how y'all be all on the ground shaking this and breaking that. I'm like, what are you doing? So, anything is possible, man. I'm a prime example, seriously. So, are there any questions, comments, concerning anything you want to ask me? Yes, ma'am.